For those of us who don't know the definition and what it means to be an artistic director of a theatrical production, what does that mean to be?
Well, artistic director, depends on what theater you're working with. If you work in a major theater in Broadway, you have your limitation. For whatever is my history and knowledge about this, you're an artistic director. It's more like a general manager, we say, which has also hands up about the artistical production. So if it goes too much far away from whatever is let's say the direction where the theater wants to go to, the artistic director is the responsible. And then you have, for instance, the artistic director of the Metropolitan Opera is a very powerful person because he supervises all the production, the artistical fake, the sets, and this is a small theater, not so small, but small compared to this major venues. So the artistic director is a little bit of everything. It's somebody that be careful what production you do. For instance, I know that some play will not work well here, so I have to talk with the playwrights when I read the scripts and say, look, this is not an appropriate work for here. And so probably you have to approach another venue. And I give some time addresses and telephone number where you can talk with other people, like possibly approach their work the way they're doing it. So that's a little bit of my work. It's a little bit artistic director, but supervising. I help a lot, for instance, the play, because I have some background in design, furnitures, and do work, interior decorator work.
You're interior director?
Well, no, I'm not. I'm just more like design and make furniture.
Instinct for that.
Yeah, that's a kind of, I've been involved in the decoration inside the house for many years.
Oh.
This gives me an insight to have three-dimensional way to look at the space.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, yesterday there was, you see the string here now, people that are reading interviews, you can see there's something hanging from the ceiling. It's very high, 12 feet from the ground. And there is an aerialist which is going to perform tonight. And yesterday she did the tech dress rehearsal. She was doing the last run. The first performance comes out tonight for her. And I think she does she's doing a fantastic work. I mean, she's just flying here like an acrobat and do all kinds of shapes. And when I was here, she said, what do you think I should do? She will ask me. So then I said, okay, let's move. We put lights in front, we just put a touch of red, and we took off the major light out. We put something, the projection here, and suddenly you have all this blue-red projection on the wall. Things turn a little bit magic. Mm-hmm. And so I had the pleasure to be able to help, and I love to be involved in that direction. I'm not really saying, hey, look, do what I say. Not really. Only when I'm asked, then I step in. Mm-hmm. More rarely about the script, because the script is more like something you don't touch, unless they really ask you what you think about that scene. It's not really. You're not discussing this. As artistic director in this venue, I'm helping very much more like about the setting, the audio, the video, that kind of, what I mean? Where the actor should stand, sometimes they don't see they're too in front, they are not lit properly. We can hear them properly, so they're all kind of advised how to enhance their own work.
You just finished a production of Fake Book. What were the challenges for you in producing that?
Well, I have to be sincere, I have no challenge at all. I mean, this was a very well set production. Uh-huh. They come here already all trained. The actors, they were already trained, they're not newcomers.
And the setting, the stage setting was fairly...
Yeah, that was very basic, very minimalistic. It was somebody was moving out of the house or something. So that was not really a challenge for me. And Marianne, the writer, and David, the director, they're just absolutely two delicious people. They're beautiful. And highly cultured, educated. It was so nice, very respectful.
And the actors were...
Yeah, exactly. So what I have to do, I opened the house, and that was it.
How was the reaction to the production?
Very, very well received. Very well received. It was very received. I mean, talking with the public, we have a growing community that comes to this theater to watch. Uh-huh. We're speaking, a few dozens. It's not yet. Yeah, so we just opened. So we opened to build up. Yes. Yeah. So I know a lot of them because they come every weekend. It's wonderful because they just some they told me I want to get away from my TV for 3 hours. And they come to the theater, and it's never 3 hours, it's 1 hour is enough, the plays, And that's it. Then we have a little comments coming out.
It was interesting at how the momentum built up, because I came on the third night that it was performed, and the talk was that it was such a difference in the third night.
And that's the magic we were talking on that
Yes.
before. And I saw the difference in an actor. Something up and up the third night.
Mhm.
Something just went how probably was supposed to be going. And that's happened all the time. The third night usually is the best night because they have only 3 performances for run. But they do their own rehearsal outside, many of them for months.
Ah,
So if they come here, they're already all.
I think
Yeah.
David did a number of rehearsals with them.
Yeah, definitely. They were just meeting outside. Usually that's what they do in the world of theater. You meet
Yes.
outside, you do the things, and then you arrive for the theater only at the end, and you just do several, rehearsal until you're ready to perform.
That was a wonderful production. What's your vision for the productions you would like to have in this theater?
Well, as various as possible. I love to have everything. I love musical. I love one actor show, one woman shows. Anything that would just create a difference and a multiple approach. And as I told you, I love very much the approach of multimedia. I have a show that is coming here in October, which is coming with all what I'm thinking about. It's a show. They come with 2 projectors. They build an entire construction with pipes here, and they dance inside and they act. So it's very, very complex, this. And I love to have a lot of those shows, but also the show that just, this people do not talk about, whisper, and they really go inside the world of the emotions and really trying to get something out.
Oh, speaking of that, I had a question for you about, you had an interview, and you made a comment. And the comment was about learning, and the quote was, to explore the journey from my inner feelings and realizations to the sharing of them with those who will be exposed to my work.
Yes. Well, the way.
So what I was asking, therapy for the heart is all about our emotional world,
Mhm.
and how our emotions, much more than our intellect, influence our choices in life, and by accepting our feelings, we become more human, and thus enrich our life experiences.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, what kind of feelings did you discover on your journey through your doing theater? What was that process like? What did you discover about yourself?
Okay, I think this is the best question that could be for me, because I live very much in that kind of world. What I would regress a little bit, and I would say I feel this is a little bit of a seedy approach, thinking like the emotion, like a detached part of life, and we have to explore and go into it. I think that's this for an artist in general. This is not something you see in that way. It's more like a complex. It's just like an entirety of elements that work together. Emotion is only one part of it. It's just you don't have a tendency to isolate like we do in modern society. We do so much of this. We just categorize and put apart all the elements, and then we ask people, or we suggest people to put all the elements together again when you so much try to divide them, So what I say that the emotional world for me, at least the approach to the emotional work, is certainly something that it should be open to everybody, because you make the connection, art and emotion. Yeah, oh my God. If you would not either, you relieve truly your emotion, I think you live an entire life. Don't be slave for your emotion, but live them through. So I know a lot of people that would never cry, for instance, or people that would cry too much, and it's very
Those
interesting.
extremes, yeah.
It's very interesting, like to see. Let's talk about those that don't cry, because there are many. They just kind of everything doesn't go through. I can take care of it. And that's would say it's very American approach. Huh? No matter what, I can just take care of this. I go over it. There is no time for mourning. Oftentimes, when people die, it's just like, okay, the day after you go, you can't really cry about it. I can say, being very Italian, drama, hey, mama, this whole thing, this is something I can't really leave. I live very much into the world of the emotions. What I can say as a projection of this, how good is for the heart of people and how emotions are good to our people. I can see it when we do workshop with actors. And sometimes actors, they have some area they're not very good at because they cannot connect with the kind of emotions. But oftentimes, to increase the level of, to better the level of their acting, they just challenge themselves to trying to get a role which they know is going to be difficult for them. And then what you do workshop, and as I do as a director, we're trying to go through those emotions. And you can see them better as a director because when you're in the middle of it, it's like you breaking a wall inside. And you just keep pushing and pushing that wall. I said, look, I don't feel you're connecting with this part. Are you really sure you're connecting with this? Okay, you got to push. And things happen. And at a certain moment, you do 4, 5, 6, 10 takes, and you keep repeating the scene. We have to break through to that thing. It has to come out. And all of a sudden, it comes out. And oftentimes, actor cries and go into kind of little crisis. It's just something like, you know something? He doesn't go back close. That's what's very interesting for me. When you have that experience, most of the time you retain it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you finally print out a page in your documents and you have it. It's not an experience like, I don't know if it works everywhere else, but at least what I've seen here on the stage, it kind of stays. It's like you got it, it's yours. Now, if you're able to use it all the time, that's, I don't know, I think it's so complex, this possibility for everybody is different. But I think I find very interesting. So I actually would say that it's very interesting to see how people grows by performing and be involved in the world of theater. They just go fast. They grow fast in some things, that they do things with things inside in a way that it's more difficult to do in a normal, regular life. So there's a lot of, what I found out now, there's a lot of people that are not really actors, but they use the reading of the play like a form of therapy. So they will go to all this reading, and then they're allowed after this reading to ask questions. And through with, for instance, oftentimes with the playwright, and there's the back and forth, the discussion that they have. And I don't know why, but I see a lot of doctors involved, of all kinds, not really psychologists, I see surgeons. I don't know, for some kind of way I see a lot of doctors, they are involved with theater. Either they like to write plays, either they're just, I know 3 theaters that are run by art directors there were doctors before. So I guess that seems to be a form of growth and therapy without being, not in the bed of the therapist. Just by talking, they ask very deep questions. Well, but you have this, you say you have this character just going in the kitchen and not telling his wife. Why wouldn't tell his wife? I think he should have been doing this. That's what it turns. Mm-hmm. It turns into a kind of therapy. I don't know if that's good for art or if that art implied this. What could I say? I mean, that's let's not talk about this, but I see this a lot of this, the world of emotion, unlocking.
A lot of the things I see with the people that I work with, and I've worked with many actors too, in terms of their inhibitions, that there's a lot of shame that people hold inside and makes it difficult for them to be uninhibited because they carry around a lot of shame. So once they can identify that shame and say it out loud, because often it has to be kept secret because there's a lot of negativity and self-attacks that the people do to themselves. But once they can work through that, they become very liberating. But they have to work through the shame of whatever they are feeling, and to be able to say it out loud is very liberating. And